you just look at AirDNA, AirDNA.co crunches the Airbnb data.
Wait, tell
And
me about this resource. I'm not familiar with this. AirDNA.co?
.co, right. So basically they're getting fed all the Airbnb data, or they're grabbing it. I think they're more scraping, but I don't know for sure. But basically what they're doing is they're saying, you know, this is what 2 bedrooms do. This is what 3 bedrooms do. This is what 4 bedrooms do. This is how many of them there are in the market. And you can just see supply and demand wise, there's way less of the bigger cabins. And that's kind of why I gravitate to them. Is there's less, if you want to rent an 8 bedroom, there just aren't nearly as many of those as there are 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. So you're all of a sudden you're competing for, there's more people that want them than there are available.
Right.
So you get to
Right.
charge more nightly rate just based on that alone. The other thing that's pretty interesting about AirDNA is they actually have a revenue calculator that will give you roughly what the gross should be on a property annually that you can use to figure it out. So one of the other things we see pretty much in all short-term rental markets roughly is, especially stuff that has management companies that have been around a while, is management companies that are grossly mismanaging, especially when it comes to pricing.
Yep.
And a lot of time what we're seeing is people pricing way too low. So they're like, well, what did this cabin gross last year? And it's something ridiculous, like ridiculously low. Like instead of the 80, it made like 60, right? Or 55. And then you say something like, can I see, where do you have it listed? And they're like, oh, here's the Airbnb listing. And you look and it's 100% occupied for the next, 4 or 5 months. Well, obviously,
yeah, you're not maximizing.
we just got our confirmation that you're grossly underpriced. We know that we should trust the AirDNA numbers, right? We know that it isn't something that consistently is going to make what you made, because that was ridiculously low.
Right. As an engineer by training, let's be honest, how many countless hours have you geeked out on AirDNA and just sat there trolling numbers?
It's sad. It's if I had a nickel for every hour I spent on AirDNA, every cabin I've crunched. Oh my gosh, I've crunched a lot of them.
And so that's a good question. Like, obviously you've kind of picked your spot, it's close enough locally to you where you can be kind of a local subject matter expert. Have you looked at other markets? Like, how many deals are you evaluating the Smoky Mountains to make one offer, to get one offer accepted? Like, what does the math pan out? Because I know this is your full-time job now. I don't have the time to do that. So how many deals or locations are you analyzing to make sure the properties you end up with are, a home run, or at least a triple?
So excellent question. I'm about to start looking in other markets and use some of the formulas that I'm using in these other markets. But to answer your question of what exactly we help provide clients in the Smoky Mountains, is kind of like a tagline of what we're doing is, what's the only thing better than investing in one of the best markets in the country? And that's investing in the top 25% of that market. And I can show you numerically what it takes to get that done. And so we're looking over, here's your spreadsheet, here's your deal analysis sheet. I want you to crunch the numbers because I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want you to be, I believe Dave and it didn't work out. No, I want you to crunch the numbers and we both agree, and I'll double check your work, but we are going to guide you. And there's plenty of clients that I'm one of the few real estate agents that clients will say, I think I want to buy this. And I go, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah,
and this is what we need to work on to get you over here to better stuff.
I rather just trust Dave, because I barely made it through geometry in high school. So there's a 0% chance I'm going to crunch a spreadsheet better than you can. So I disagree.
The other half of that, and the other reason why I'm asking clients to do it is, I will say things like, what do you want? And they'll say, I want cash on cash and I don't care about anything else. And then I used to spend a lot of time crunching a lot of numbers, and I would handpick some incredible properties. And I'd say, well, here you go. And they go, well, but I don't like this. And I don't like that. And it appears that gets me a little upset when I spend a bunch of hours and I've met what they claimed was their criteria. So the way I do it now is say, look, we're going to get you educated. I want you to pick some places that you're happy with. And then I know generally what they're looking for. And then when stuff like that comes up, we will try to pass them to the clients that will be accepting. But I found that if I do a bunch of work and give it to people and they tell me, no, that isn't, I don't like it, my wife doesn't like whatever, it doesn't go well.